Welcome to One-on-One with Walt Laskos. In this brief podcast, you'll learn how to most effectively address senior financial exploitation. Now, here's Walt.
According to the Federal Trade Commission, scams and fraud reported in 2023 accounted for some $10 billion in financial losses for Americans. So, what might we expect when it comes to 2024? I did some digging and found a report that enlisted suspicious activity reports, known as SARs in the banking world. Well, SARs are the documents that financial institutions must file with the federal government's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, known as FICEN, whenever behavior by employees or customers is detected that may be associated with money laundering, fraud, or other types of criminal activity. They are considered to be one of the most accurate measures of the prevalence of financial crime in any given year in the United States. Well, not surprisingly, the number of SARs have been steadily rising. According to statistics behind the SARs filings, fraud is on the rise, and there is no indication of a slowdown. But believe it or not, that scam information was not what rattled my cage today. In fact, what rattled my cage did not even involve ripping off thousands of dollars in life savings from an older adult, albeit what got me so upset was fraudulent indeed and conducted by a con artist. Allow me to share. The Philadelphia Inquirer published a story by Julia Taruso a few days ago, reporting that a woman received a fake letter in the U.S. mail notifying her that she'd have to house migrants under a non-existent Biden-Harris program. The woman, Elizabeth Barrett, 62, a resident of a Philly suburb, got a detailed letter from the made-up Pennsylvania Congressional Office of Immigration Affairs notifying her that her household had been selected to house 5 migrant refugees. The article went on to say that no office exists, nor does such a government-mandated housing program. The letter, doctored to look like an official government document, provided specific details designed to mislead someone less attuned to a scam, and laid the blame for the fake program at the feet of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. The letter said that Barrett was selected as a wayward steward as part of U.S. 5 CA-12-B, written into law by President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, guess what? No such law exists. It advised Barrett that she'd been selected based on property and income records and would receive an $80 weekly stipend for food costs. The letter suggested a minimum of 1 bedroom be prepared with a minimum of 5 beds. And the letter had an imprint of a fake Pennsylvania seal on the letterhead and a stamped date informing Bennett when to expect the migrants. The return address listed was for an intersection in front of the Pennsylvania Capitol building in Harrisburg. So, my friends, what's the lesson to learn here? Scams and fraud continue to target all of us, from teens to older adults. And they don't necessarily always have to be the kind looking to rip us off, conning us out of our life savings. They can also be designed to influence our thinking about the candidates and how we cast our ballots in the November election. As we count down to Election Day on Tuesday, November 5th, we all need to exercise a high degree of caution and discernment when it comes to any of the political messaging we see and hear coming from our radios, newspapers, televisions, and yes, even our own mailboxes. Always verify and never act in haste. And above all, and beyond all, be sure to vote. We must not allow the con artist to fraudulently influence our thinking, to fraudulently influence who to vote for, and certainly frighten us to such a degree that prevent us from casting our ballots. Thanks for listening. Stay safe.
If you've enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow One-on-One with Walt Laskos wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to send comments to walt@laskoscommunications.com. And to learn more about how you might support the prevention of elder financial scams, visit laskoscommunications.com.